What? Breakdancing is part of the Olympics? Sweet, bro. Man, I hope I hear some Grandmaster Flash. Bring me back to my break-in days. Break-in 2 Electric Boogaloo. All right. So let's see what's up. Australia. Nice. Ray gun. Ooh. What the fuck? So, welcome to Fumbling Through the Galaxy. I'm Severus Snape, your host, and today we're going to be exploring a character that was first introduced in the 2D Clone Wars animated series on the Cartoon Network, and then further expanded upon in the 3D Clone Wars as well as novelization. This is a character that is my favorite Sith of all time, a character whose story arc starts with one of hope, turns into one of fear, and comes back to one of hope. And so, really, a great redemption arc, which is to me the core of all Star Wars. So, of course, I'm talking of none other than Asajj Ventress. Asajj Ventress is to me my favorite Sith for those reasons and many more. She has moments in the Clone Wars 3D cartoon and in the 2D introduction which are unmatched, unrivaled, cruel, funny, scary, and then just heartbreaking. And so, you know what? That's why she speaks to me. And that's why I love this character so, so much. And that's why I was so happy to find her in a statue made by Gentle Giant in the early 2000s. And this is a series that I'm still trying to collect to this day, and that I will continue to try and collect until I complete this, because every single statue in this series is just phenomenal, and again represents my favorite Star Wars, which is Clone Wars Star Wars, both 2D and 3D. And so, before we get into looking at the box, I'm curious, who is your favorite Sith and why? Is it one of the Darths? Is it Darth Maul? Is it Darth Vader? Is it Darth Sidious, Plagueis, Bane, Talon? Who is it and why? And why specifically do you think that they are the greatest Sith? Is it that they exuded the most power? Is it that they had, made the most changes? Did they create the rule of two? Did they subvert the Senate? There's many, many reasons that they all can't be the greatest Sith of all time. So I'd be curious to know what you think and the reasons why you chose that Sith. So again, today we will be looking at my favorite Sith, which is Asajj Ventress, as first introduced in the Clone Wars cartoon. I mean, just such a great, great, great introduction. I mean, her fight with Anakin in that Clone Wars 2D is just, to me, some of the greatest content we've ever had. So this again is part of the Star Wars Clone Wars Maquette series that Gentle Giant did in the early 2000s. So they did mostly all the main characters and a couple of the side Jedis. And it's been really difficult to find. If I haven't said it before, I will say it now, that I collect in person. I do sometimes pre-order like everybody else. I live in a pre-order world by necessity. But all because I collect mostly older pieces, it's almost always in person. It's always at cons or always at brick and mortar store, smaller brick and mortar. So obviously we're not talking about the larger carriers, because they wouldn't carry this. So it's part of the rush, part of the thrill, part of the joy that makes me really enjoy collecting Star Wars. And this is a maquette. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. These maquettes are amazing, and they really capture a lot of fantastic characters that were first introduced and then or reintroduced in Clone Wars 2D. So I'll be showing Asajj today, but I've got a bunch of these that I want to go through and share with you guys. They not only did the Clone Wars 2D, but then they got so inspired by the type of animation that they also applied that animation style to some other statues from the original trilogy, which are equally as exciting. So leave a comment, leave a like, and see you at the table. All right, so here we are at the table with Asajj. Taking a look at the box here, the front of the box. Great image. I love the cartoon image in the background. As I said, this is based on the 2D show, which I really liked. Love her character in that show. Much more so in, obviously, Clone Wars 3D, but nonetheless, a fantastic first introduction. Good enough to obviously explore more. And Filoni's take on it. Here in the back of the box, we have As Seen on Cartoon Network. This kind of always makes me think of the As Seen on TV store that we used to have here at malls, where you'd go in and everything you'd see on TV, like Ronco products and ShamWows and all that kind of stuff, was at that store. So I always laugh when I see As Seen on. And here we have some of the other characters, which I'm hunting down. Amidala is really tough to find, actually, at least here in Canada. And then here we have another great shot of Asajj in action. And then here, an explanation of Tartakovsky's vision. Basically, that this is a 3-dimension bust of his unique creation for the Star Wars Clone War maquettes that captured a pivotal role players from this era of Star Wars lore. Yeah, man. Awesome. All right, so let's take a look at what's inside the box. As I said in my preamble, these have all been opened. So there'll be no surprises here. Really what we're gonna hope more than anything is that the figure is in good condition. But I have the feeling she will be. So there we go, really well packaged. Lightsabers are intact, good sign. Let's see what she looks like. Take her out. Oh yeah, I mean that face, oh, awesome. Looks great. Really solid paint apps. Just a great likeness to the show. As I said, this was a great first introduction to the character. The character only got better with time. Glad that we got to see her. Bad Batch Season 3, hopefully in live action. I mean, there's a book, for those of you who are familiar with the novelizations, called The Dark Disciple, which I think absolutely must be made into live action, so we'll see. So let's take a look at the details in her robe here. Really good stuff. Love the dynamic action in it. And then the, what did they describe this as? A high-end base. Anyways, premium base, I think they called it on the box. That looks great. So I think what we'll do now is put our lightsabers in. I wonder, you know, these lightsabers, I mean, they all seem to be made of this kind of same type of plastic. I wonder if with time they'll hold up. I'm not sure. I tend to keep my figures as out of the light as much as possible and in a cool environment. But obviously that's tough to do for some people or sometimes. So I do often wonder if there's a risk of these things kind of melting or losing some of their rigidity over time. So again, here she is. Just looks sick. Love the snarl. That scene with her and Anakin in Clone Wars 2D is great. It's just really great. All right. So that's Asajj. I could look at this all day. Can't wait to see her up on the shelf.